Good afternoon. Welcome to another one of these. It is incredibly hot, and I'm a little bit hungover, truth be told. So let's get the nasty stuff out of the way first. I've been right about a hell of a lot of things. Invariably, I've been right. I don't get any pleasure from saying it, but some of you are actually too dumb to communicate with. So if you don't understand this, you ask me silly questions or make funny noises or whatever it might be, I will just delete you because I don't have it within me anymore. Okay. I'm not having a breakdown, by the way, but it's just too hot. And I just want to talk normally. I'll try and be distinct so you get it, but don't say, for example, oh yeah, but we've heard all that before, because it means you're not listening. So that's all you have to do. So if you can't even listen to somebody and coherently add it up in your head, I can't do anything for you. Right, so that's all the horrible stuff. The good news is that the volatility within Tottenham has come for good reason. Many of you won't want to hear this because you would feel really happy waving at a bus. But the reputational damage that this channel warned you about under the last fat idiot has been significant. And we're now entering a stage of repair, remedial action to make things whole again. Everything gets devalued in football when things go wrong. And a lot of it, you wouldn't know. You just wouldn't know. But you can't command the best prices anymore. You can't demand the top money for stuff that you're selling. And Joe Lewis, bizarrely, for everything nasty that I've said about Enoch and all the rest of them, has landed on my side of the fence, and he snapped. So if you're wondering what's going on, all roads lead back to Lewis and Lewis's connections. Okay? So when Daniel Levy has said in the past that he's stepping back from football, that's because he's giving us his usual mealy-mouthed LinkedIn speak business about, oh, we want to win the Premier League, we want to win the Champions League. That's to cope with noise that is external. The noise he's got at the moment is internal and it's above him. The heat is on. Donna Marie Cullen was sacked. She doesn't work here anymore because they didn't want her in the building anymore. So they put out a nice little statement and all the rest of it, but that's not what Joe Lewis or Joe Lewis and co would tell you. They would tell you the truth. And those people have been absolutely furious. Nothing shy of furious. So I get it. You enjoyed waving at a bus. These people have bigger and greater ambitions than waving at a bus. So you don't want to hear it. I totally understand. I totally understand. So the way the things are set up at the moment is, yes, they want to sell. Yes, they're looking to sell, but they need to sell at their prime, at their peak. And you didn't understand it at the time, and some of you still don't understand it today. But when you are on your knees like a bitch, sobbing, you are not at your peak. You are on the floor. And when you're 17th in the Premier League, that's where you are. You're on the floor, kneeling like a bitch. So that's why Joe Lewis and other people weren't happy. More than unhappy. They eclipsed being unhappy. Venkatesham and Carrington have come in from the shadows, and they are part of the new direction. Daniel Levy mumbling about he's going to step back from football. No, he's been told, and he will be moved. He's done enough to survive what Ange Postecoglou inflicted upon the business. And this was the angle that we took in all of the hours of tapes that we've put out. And one of the reasons that I still can't get more than 10,000 subscribers, because I've been right about a lot of things for many, many years. And on a hot day like today, I'm not going to get aerated about it. Like I said, I'll just boot you because you're not worth factoring in. Why would I want to listen or exchange with you? So this is more truth about what they're trying to do, and they're trying to get this remedial process underway. That means keeping Daniel out of the way and stop him interfering. So if you start getting um, uh, idiots in the media telling you that Daniel Levy has flown to so-and-so to get the deal done, they're probably lying. You understand what that means, don't you? Not telling the truth. So you're going to get people on the board who are making more of a name because that's what they've been given. They've been given more responsibility, more opportunity, because some people, Donna, weren't doing their job and they allowed chaos to ensue. This business of losing all those games, Daniel Levy having it from both ends, both internal and external, telling him that the football was no longer worth watching in a £1 billion stadium. It wasn't. Nobody can laugh that off. And it was Lewis that expedited the exit of the portly Australian gentleman. That's why he's no longer here, and it didn't drag on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks because Daniel wasn't allowed to take us down another one of those masquerades. Amanda Staveley is dealing with Vinay, and that's another signal that they're looking to actively either sell a big chunk or sell and get out. But what they can't afford to do anymore, and Postecoglou showed that, displayed that, evidenced it, is they can't wander around waffling about building anymore. And they've kind of run out of excuses. In practical terms, you're going to have Daniel move on. I'm just looking at my notes to see if I can do this all in one tape so I can get out of the heat and back with a cold drink in my hand. But they're looking to make sure the football stands up to scrutiny, because whatever you felt while you were waving to the bus, the football didn't stand up to scrutiny, and we won a competition where we beat the worst of all the opponents that we could face in that season. There is more money to come. The deal with Palace for Wharton, they don't want to sell him. They're perfectly entitled to behave like that. So he's their product. They're quoting like Declan Rice class of cash there. Doesn't mean it can't be done, but they want to bring in players that really work, and they want to bring in low risk. Now, I'm not a big fan of this Mohamed Kudus guy. I hope that comes to fruition. I hope that pays off. But they want to bring in guys that are Premier League, like, oven ready. They don't want to go down the route of the guy from, I don't know, France or wherever. They want guys that are ready to contribute and move the football club forward. All this chitter-chatter, utter piffle about building on the strength of the Europa League victory. Absolute cobblers. Building on what? Building on what? You lost 22 league games. You lost so many games, you broke the Premier League record that since the inception of that division, you would have definitely got relegated. That's how bad we were. So Lewis wants an end to that. He wants to be able to charge top dollar. He wants to be able to get the best prices when he goes out shopping, and tie up the right sponsorship deals. The Vinay is making steps to get the sponsorship deal done, opposed to what Daniel Levy has been doing, and it's what he was doing with Ange Postecoglou as well. They weren't managing it. They were mismanaging the situation, and that's why Donna Marie Cullen doesn't work here anymore, or live here anymore, whatever she was doing, but she's gone. It wasn't a natural retirement. That was the blood on the boardroom carpet, right there, seeping through the floorboards to make sure that everybody below realised the trouble that was coming. As I say, Spurs have spent a long time, or THFC or ENIC have spent a long time building what they've built, and they did their level best to try and set fire to it, to burn it down in one season. And thankfully, a voice of reason has stood up and said, enough's enough. So there's more money to come. I reckon the total spending could be in the region of 300 million. So there's your headline for your cruddy little article. It probably won't be written because you don't trust me, despite the fact I've been right for so long. But that's the truth of it. I expect that Thomas Frank will be backed in this window. I think he'll be backed again in the winter. And I think they're onto something with him. But this is all because basically Daniel Levy's footballing duties are shrinking by the minute. Don't expect him to give up quietly. He'll still have his hand in the game, but he is being, as I said to you, he is somebody who has simply survived something pretty catastrophic internally. And thank goodness that Joe Lewis has stepped in and is doing the right thing. So that's it for now. There is reason for cheer there, despite me being snappy and grumpy with you in the heat. But all of the business being a Paddy Power joke, like I've said to you before, that particular company are huge and they're just using us as a urinal every time they open their social media page. All of this nonsense had to stop. And this is why Spurs are changing the way they're doing things. I haven't been tapped up by anybody. I'm simply telling you what I've heard from reliable sources. And if I don't have anything to tell, then I don't tell you anything because I don't work for certain publications that have a remit whereby I've got to churn out this, that, and the other. But that's it. That's it. So, I mean, it gives me hope. There is some stuff that crosses over with what's gone on in the past. But if we could do, we're talking to 4, possibly 5 players. There's around about an ambition to spend somewhere in the region of about 300 million this summer, all told. Now, I know we've done a lump of that already. But they want to turn it round and they want to stop certainly giving the impression that they've just been fannying around or playing at it, because that's not the direction of travel that they wanted to be involved with. So that's it. It's cost Cullen a job, and other people have been brought in who can do the job properly. If they can do so, then wonderful. I'm not going to say to you the future's bright, blah, 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 but the stupidity, the absolute abject stupidity is over. And I can't wait to see what a genuine football coach can do with a proper coaching staff. Because, goodness me, why were we even talking about Spurs last season? Absolute unwatchable dross. And we won a competition because we won 10 games against bums. That's the reality of it. And this all ties up, the stuff that I've been giving you here, all ties up with why Ange isn't here anymore, why Donna Cullen isn't here anymore, and why they want to get back on track. That's it for now. Good luck. Keep it Tom.